They were hunting for a queen. What they found was impossible. A tunnel stretching nearly a mile through solid bedrock, carved with such inhuman precision that modern engineers can't replicate it. But when they reached the 43rd foot below the desert floor, they realized something that changed everything. This wasn't a tunnel to somewhere, it was a tunnel to somewhen. And scattered around it, a luxury ship that shouldn't exist, a calendar that knew too much, and a sealed chamber that no human has entered in 2,000 years. Ancient Egypt didn't leave us ruins. They left us a riddle, and the answer is buried deeper than anyone imagined. The search began with a legend. Cleopatra, the last pharaoh of Egypt, the woman who held the fate of empires in her hands, vanished from history without a traced burial site. For over 2,000 years, her tomb remained one of archaeology's greatest obsessions. Teams scoured the coastline, excavated temples, drained waterlogged chambers. Nothing. Until a team led by Dominican archaeologist Kathleen Martinez made a calculated gamble on an abandoned site near the ancient city of Taposiris Magna, 13 miles west of Alexandria. The temple there had been searched before, dismissed, forgotten. But Martinez saw something others missed. Ancient texts whispered of secret chambers, underground labyrinths, places where royalty didn't just hide treasure, they hid themselves. So they started digging. And what emerged from the earth wasn't Cleopatra's tomb. It was something far stranger. Picture this. You're 43 feet underground. The air is thick, ancient. Your headlamp cuts through absolute darkness. And stretching before you is a tunnel so perfectly straight, so impossibly smooth. It looks like someone took a knife to the planet itself. 4,200 feet of it, carved through bedrock that would shatter modern drill bits. The team called it a geometric miracle. And they weren't exaggerating. When engineers analyzed the trajectory, they found deviations of less than a single degree across the entire length. No surveying equipment, no GPS, no laser levels, just copper tools, human hands, and a mathematical understanding that we're still trying to reverse engineer. But the precision wasn't the strangest part. It was the purpose. See, tunnels in ancient Egypt usually connected things. Burial chambers, water sources, escape routes. This one, it didn't connect to anything. It just descended deeper and deeper into the earth, as if reaching for something far below the surface, something they desperately needed to protect, or perhaps something they needed to reach. And then the discoveries started multiplying. 300 feet from the tunnel entrance, buried in a collapsed antechamber, they found her. Not Cleopatra, but a statue, life-sized, carved from white alabaster with features so delicate you could see the individual strands of hair. The face matched historical descriptions of the queen herself, down to the distinctive curve of her jawline, the sharp intelligence in those stone eyes. But she wasn't alone. Nearby, excavators unearthed 27 fragments of statuary, coins bearing her image, and this is where it gets eerie, a massive bronze bust that had been deliberately hidden beneath 6 feet of sand and rubble. Someone had gone to extraordinary lengths to conceal these artifacts, not from tomb raiders, from time itself. Then came the boat. Half a mile from the tunnel, beneath a collapsed section of the temple complex, they discovered the remains of what ancient papyri called a pleasure vessel, a luxury craft mentioned in legends but never proven to exist. The preservation was uncanny, 2,000-year-old wood that still showed the marks of the builder's tools, fragments of gold leaf clinging to the prow, and in the sediment surrounding it, residue of wines and oils that told the story of voyages along the Nile when Cleopatra walked the earth. But perhaps the most staggering find came from a chamber adjacent to the tunnel system. Etched into a limestone wall, archaeologists discovered what experts now believe is the world's oldest public calendar, not a simple lunar tracker or seasonal guide. This was a sophisticated astronomical instrument, a permanent record of solar cycles, stellar movements, and religious festivals spanning centuries. The precision staggers the mind. Whoever created this didn't just observe the sky, they understood it. They tracked the heliacal rising of Sirius to predict the Nile's flooding. They calculated the solar year to within minutes of modern measurements. And they did it without telescopes, without computers, without any of the tools we consider essential for such work. Look closer at the markings, and you'll find something even more unsettling. Calculations that account for the precession of the equinoxes, a wobble in Earth's rotation that takes 26,000 years to complete. The ancient Greeks wouldn't discover this phenomenon for another 3 centuries. Yet here it was, carved into stone, integrated into a calendar system so advanced that scholars are still decoding its full implications. It raises an unavoidable question. What else did they know? What other knowledge did they possess that we've dismissed as impossible, simply because it doesn't fit our timeline of human progress? Modern engineers who've studied the tunnel can't agree on how it was constructed. The tool marks suggest copper chisels, yes, but copper is soft. It deforms under pressure. It dulls quickly against hard stone. To carve 4,000 feet of tunnel through bedrock with copper tools would require replacing your implements every few feet. It would take decades, maybe centuries. Yet the geological evidence suggests this tunnel was completed in a single construction phase. No evolutionary changes in technique, no trial and error visible in the walls. Whoever built this knew exactly what they were doing from the very first strike of the chisel. Some researchers have proposed the use of pounding stones, massive granite hammers wielded by hundreds of workers in the darkness. Others suggest a lost technique involving water and extreme temperature changes to fracture the rock. But none of these theories fully explain the laser-like precision, the perfect angles, the seamless continuation through different types of stone. And then there's the matter of the debris. When you carve a tunnel, you create rubble, tons of it. Where did it go? The surrounding chambers show no evidence of massive stone disposal. It's as if they found a way to remove the bedrock itself, molecule by molecule, leaving nothing behind but empty space and smooth walls. 500 yards from the tunnel entrance lies something that might rewrite our understanding of the entire site. A mound, roughly circular, 120 feet in diameter, completely undisturbed by the previous excavations that tore through the surrounding area. Ground-penetrating radar revealed what lies beneath, a massive stone structure, perfectly symmetrical, with what appears to be a central chamber surrounded by smaller rooms. The readings suggest walls 10 feet thick, a ceiling carved from a single piece of limestone weighing hundreds of tons, and no visible entrance from the surface. The team hasn't opened it yet. They're being careful, painfully careful, because the seals around the structure show no signs of ancient tampering, no grave robbers, no earthquake damage, no water infiltration. If this is what they think it might be, an intact royal burial, it would be the first undisturbed pharaoh's tomb, discovered in over a century. But here's what keeps the archaeologists awake at night. The mound sits at the exact center of a geometric pattern formed by the tunnel, the temple foundations, and 3 other underground structures they've identified, but not yet excavated. It's not random. Someone designed this, planned it, built it according to a blueprint that treated the entire landscape as a single, massive architectural project. So we return to the question that started this journey. What were they protecting? The tunnel leads nowhere and everywhere. The artifacts speak of power and knowledge. The calendar tracks time itself with impossible accuracy. And beneath it all, sealed in stone, something waits in the darkness. Maybe it's Cleopatra. Maybe it's something older. But standing at the entrance to that tunnel, feeling the weight of 43 feet of earth above you, staring into that geometric miracle, carved by hands that turned stone into poetry, you understand something fundamental. Ancient Egypt didn't build for their present. They built for eternity. They encoded their secrets in stone and mathematics, in tunnels and calendars, in boats and statues buried where only the truly determined would find them. We think we're discovering their past, but perhaps we're finally catching up to their future, the one they saw coming, the one they tried to prepare us for. The geometric miracle isn't just a tunnel, it's a time capsule. And we've only just begun to decode the message. The sand keeps its secrets well, but not forever, never, forever.